welcome to Beyond the Ball. I am Colly, and this week I'm joined by Big Paddy. Paddy, what's happening, man?
What's up, Colly? How are you?
I have been better. Better. It hasn't been a great week, I won't lie. But there's a noticeable absence today, and I'm wondering, is it related to a certain result we had last night, Paddy?
Pele?
Jesus Christ! What a way to start that. Brentford and Liverpool. And we had no Connor.
The mighty Liverpool. They were on a run. They were coming back, weren't they?
Yeah, I thought they were going to win the league, I think, and there was all sorts of stuff.
Back under a stone. That's where it is, where he came from. That's right.
That's what it is. Right, Paddy, we're going to be looking at the results from the last kind of week or so. We were kind of midweek with a couple of games, and it was a bit all over the place. So, there's 4 or 5 fixtures that we're going to be looking at. Obviously, Chelsea, Liverpool, and United being the topic. We have a bit of news as well that we'll be looking at and we'll be covering. Obviously, you mentioned it there, Pele passing away, so we'll be having a little bit of a chat about him, and then kind of we'll have a little tribute video or a little video that we can watch in relation to him from years back, which is good. We'll have a little bit of a talk about some transfer news. We're going to have a look at some of the previous transfers that have happened and give our opinions. We were asked by one of the followers, Andy, to have a look at a list of transfers that have happened, the highest kind of valued transfers, and give our thoughts on the players and the value and whether we think any of them are actually worth the money. And then we'll be looking at the weekend fixtures. It's going to be weekend fixtures, and then obviously Chelsea and City on Thursday night as well. So, Paddy, we're going to jump straight in and we're going to go on to the football review. Right, Paddy. First one we're starting off, we're going to try go in order. So first one we're starting off with is Manchester United and Nottingham Forest. 3-0 to Manchester United. Happy man, a happy Paddy, a happy Big Paddy that day, yes?
Yeah, I was apprehensive going into the game because it was the first game after the break, the first Premier League game after the break. We did play in the Carling Cup and had a lot more confidence after that to see that they were still following Ten Hag's rules, and they really seem to know what he wants on the pitch, and it seems to be paying off because consistent performances over a long period of time now, and another good result. And we've seen Notts Forest didn't get a half bad result there. Who was it against again?
Chelsea.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So,
we're going to get to that.
Yeah, no. It's just so they're not as bad as everyone thinks. You know, people might say, "Oh, it's only Notts Forest. United should have beaten them," and they should have. But last season, they may not have.
Or are Chelsea just absolutely terrible under Chris Potter?
All right, yeah, well, great. It's still though. We still won 3-0. I'll take that.
I'm not giving you any credit. You can fuck off. Paddy, right? Well, move on from that one because we do have another United game to talk about. So, next one that happened was Liverpool and Leicester. Liverpool winning 2-1. Paddy, who cares? Who cares? They won, really, you know.
But they were shocking again.
Yeah.
They were really bad. And this was in Anfield. They should have been blown Leicester away because Newcastle beat Leicester 3-0 in the game previous to this. Vardy came back into the game. He only got a short while because again he wasn't fully fit. But yeah, this Liverpool side is not the side we seen a couple of seasons ago. Like up until last season, and the signing of Gakpo is not what they needed. They needed midfield. They haven't got one.
Yeah. And even Jamie Carragher kind of touched on that and said that the midfield is really lacking. I think he said they need to sign something like 200 million worth of players or something like that to be even anywhere near it. Now, in today's market, that could mean fucking 2 decent players. So he's probably a bit off the mark there. You probably need about 300 or 400 million at this stage, like with the way transfers are going. But go on.
Sorry, but we looked at this, myself and yourself. Now we were winding Connor up at times, but this is really bad management when you think about building a squad, like buying younger players that you're going to feed coming through. Like when you let's look at Alex Ferguson because he's probably one of the longest managers in the league that built multiple teams, but he always had like different generations of players.
Yeah,
Klopp seemed to get this core of players and just let them all grow all together, and now he's kind of scrambling to fix the problem areas, and it just doesn't seem very like great management, to be quite honest with
Yeah,
you.
the man management and what you're kind of alluding to there is the mixture of experience and youth, which is something that I think every really good team has. You've always got that core kind of experienced players, and you have them kind of upcoming youth players that have really a lot of potential that could be going on to greater things, but they have to learn from the guys with the experience. And if you don't have the
Yeah,
guys with the experience there, it goes out the window, and they have to kind of fend for themselves. They have to mature themselves. They don't really get any guidance if they're not getting it from the experienced players. So you're right in saying that we did kind of wind up Connor a little bit about it, but at the same time we were kind of hitting a valid point there where they weren't buying the right players, I didn't think anyway. Now, you'll have Liverpool fans all day argue the fact that money wasn't being invested, we couldn't sell this, they were taking money out of the club, all this bullshit. But at the end of the day, you can only sign what's available. And if you're not signing the right players and if you can't get the right players, that's down to you as a club.
yeah.
The manager has to push more for that. And I know he'll kind of say he's not going to piss off, and we heard Connor saying it before, you're not going to piss off your employer because obviously you don't want the sack. But we then said, right, you're there long enough though. At this stage, you know it's going to be a shit show. You don't get what you need, so you have to kind of ruffle a few feathers. He never done it. He never really done it. And look at him now. He is struggling. I've been calling for Potter's head, but Liverpool are literally 3 points ahead of us, and we have a game in hand. So why? I understand people can say, yeah, well, it's Klopp. It is a different story. Fair enough. But there has to be pressure. And I don't know, Liverpool fans, again, they won't agree with me, and they're never going to agree with me. And they will fucking put their neck on the line out for Klopp. But if they don't get what they need to get, as in top 4 in the next season or two, they could fall back into this hole of another 20 beaten seasons without a trophy. Do you know what I mean? And it's going to be... they're going to look like Chelsea of now, because that's the way I see Chelsea going.
I think Chelsea always are a team that can bounce back within one season. Liverpool have still only won one Premier League in 30 years. You know, everyone talks about this, and it's unfortunate that Man City was around when this Liverpool team was around, because they would have won probably another couple of as well without City being there. But look, that's the way the cookie crumbles. On Liverpool and Klopp, we're also seeing City now dropping points this season. So, like, for Arsenal to be pulling away the way they are, like, what's happening to those two big teams? I remember, like, when Ten Hag was signed and he said eras must come to an end. Is this the end of the Man City Liverpool dominant era?
Yeah, and it does look that way, because I think it was the first game back, Paddy, I had said, I think it was Liverpool and City had played each other in the Carabao Cup or something. And I was looking at both of them, and I said to myself, do you know what? These two teams don't look like the teams they were last season and the season before. Now, I kind of put that down to it being the Carabao Cup, and I kind of said, all right, well, fair enough, it's the Carabao Cup. But they just, neither team looked impressive in that game, and defensively, they both looked shaky, which they haven't looked like that in a while. And for me to see that, I was kind of like, oh, maybe, yeah. But I think we're seeing it now.
I remember you saying it.
Yeah, and they're dropping points, and I kind of doubted it, where I was saying, right, maybe I'm just talking shy here. But when you look at the performances and defensively from both teams recently, it hasn't been that great, really.
Where's Van Dijk, best defender in the world?
Well, we're gonna talk about him in a few minutes, because it was more relevant to the Brentford game, because he got whipped at half time. So, but what we'll do, Paddy, is we're gonna move off this game, because, like I said, we still have another game of each team to cover. So, we'll move off this, and then we're gonna move on to the next one, Manchester United and Wolves, Paddy. So we saw here. Now, Paddy, you have seen my video on TikTok. It's got a bit of a reaction, all right, off United fans in particular. I've put a video up just questioning. Now, I'm only throwing a question out there. Is there a potential that Ten Hag may be trying to rule Manchester United with an iron fist, and has a very likely potential of pissing players off? Paddy, we know what players are like these days. They're fairies. They react to everything. Social media is a massive issue, because they can go on, they can voice their opinion, they can give subliminal messages to everybody, hidden messages where they're able to send something out. Everybody knows they're pissed off, but they haven't said it. Can't get punished by the club. Is Ten Hag walking the fine line where he's done it to Harry Maguire, and I respected the shit out of it because Harry Maguire was shit. We called it for ages. He then fucked Ronaldo. So whatever about people saying he didn't fuck Ronaldo, Ronaldo fucked Ronaldo. He did tell Ronaldo he wanted to keep him around, which he didn't really want to keep him around. I don't think he was honest with Ronaldo. And now we're saying he dropped Rashford because he was late for a meeting. He overslept and he was late for a meeting. Rashford then gets brought on, which I fully respect, and he gets a reaction out of him, and Rashford goes on to score. If that goes the other way, there's a completely different conversation. But Paddy, do you think that there is any type of risk of Ten Hag becoming too power hungry at Manchester United?
I think you see you can look at it that way, but then you can also look at the managers we've had very in the recent past, which was Mourinho and Van Gaal, who would be fairly hard-nosed managers as well. It's their way or no way.
Yeah.
And I think the difference with Ten Hag and the previous managers is the way he's manipulating the squads to suit his needs. So we had Pogba's, we had Lingards. You're talking about your social medias and stuff like that. So you haven't really got these types of players in the Man United squad anymore. And I think sometimes a manager like Ten Hag needs to look at, okay, I need to send a message here. Marcus Rashford has a good head and his shoulders. So maybe he's saying, well, he can take it well. Rather than it being a Pogba or Lingard who's going to throw their toys out of pram. It's not like he dropped Maguire. He dropped Maguire because his performances were bad. Rashford knew he was one of the best performing players in the team, but he was late for a team meeting. He slept it out and he was punished. So again, like Ronaldo, as soon as you let one thing go, then it's one rule for one person and one rule for another person. And you just can't have that. You have to have the same rules for everybody. And the best managers in the history of football have been ones that have ruled with an iron fist.
The only thing I would argue there, what you've just said, is about Rashford, about him being able to take the criticism. I don't think that's true. I think if you go to someone like Fernandes, I think maybe he takes it a bit better because he's a stronger character. I think Rashford it's walking a fine line with him. We seen what it was like 2 seasons ago, even last season. He was walking at times. He threw his toys out of pram. He wasn't performing. He wasn't putting in the work rate. And what we said, and we were talking about it for ages, if there's anything that a professional footballer can do, it's run. And that's the bare minimum that a professional footballer should be doing for his club. You're walking a tight line with him because I think he is a modern day fairy where anything will offend him, anything will upset him. He'll throw his toys out of pram and he'll look for that move, and he will get that move because he is quality. But him being pissed off is not what you want to do. Paddy, I've seen it with Chelsea. Now we know we're talking about a different animal altogether here because Chelsea have a massive habit of doing this. But you look at Andres Villas-Boas, who came in at Chelsea. We had John Terry there. We had Ashley Cole. We had all these aging players. But as we said there, the experience is required in the squad. He came straight in, dropped John Terry, dropped Lampard, was subbing him on and off. Ashley Cole was an issue. He kind of played Ashley Cole. He didn't really mind Ashley Cole too much. But there was players there, experienced players, that he came in and just said, no, this is my way. I want this team to go the way I want it to go. And it fucking bit him in the arse. And that's what I really can see happening with Ten Hag. No. I honestly think that these players are going to...
Who was Andres Villas-Boas? What did he win before he came?
Quality. He's a quality...
No, what did he win before he came? Huh?
He was... Paddy, I never really liked
And hold on, the situation you're talking about, Andres Villas-Boas, there is more closely related to maybe when David Moyes came in and he's trying to make changes to the legends of the club. That's not what United are now at the moment. United are now at the club. And for your to be saying Rashford is this prima donna and last year he threw his toys out of pram, absolutely didn't. Absolutely didn't.
100%.
Psychologically, he wasn't there like the rest of the squad. But I think Ten Hag now, talking about being too strict and it might be his undoing, I think Rashford will respect Ten Hag, and every other player that was in that squad last season will respect Ten Hag for the way they're performing now and how better they're playing as a team, as a club. We're getting respect back again. And look, we can all perform poorly And I think with Rashford, with all the stuff he had going on with the field drives, and he won his MBE, and he had too much going on. I think it was a little bit of burnout, that happened to all the squad last season. Maybe having Ronaldo there was
excuse. Paddy, excuses here. This man's been paid 200 grand a week to do this.
No.
All
So
he
was
has to
every
do is
other player in the
train a
team.
few times
So
a
was
day.
every other player in the team. And you're saying, well, why couldn't he do it to Bruno Fernandes? Maybe he could have took it better, but maybe Bruno Fernandes didn't do anything wrong.
No, that's what I mean. I just mean a character like Fernandes. I don't mean him in particular. He didn't do anything wrong. So I just mean the characteristics was like. I think you're walking a fine line with Rashford there.
I don't think so.
And I think Ten Hag is going to come down too strong. And
so what would you have done?
If you're going to fine him, it has to be a weekly fine or a wages fine, rather than like dropping him from the team. It's just jeopardizing everything you've worked for. I just think most things you see will be a weekly wage fine.
They earn too much money as it is. Yeah, I'm going to fine you 20 grand. Yeah, whatever. Right, you're not playing half a game. That'll kill them. That'll make sure they don't do it again.
But that's why I'm kind of saying you walk the fine line of really pissing the player out, because their pride and joy is being out on the pitch playing football. You snatch that away from them for any reason, and they can turn on you. And then what you have then is you have these little groups forming in training. You have all these players that are on the fringes that are pissed off, that think they should be playing. They get together, Chinese whispers, all of a sudden then a story leaks. You've got a massive issue then. And I think that's
if the manager has proper control, because if Rashford now, then it's a good test. If Rashford did turn around then and say, they just triggered his 1-year extension in his contract. If he did turn around and say, "Oh, I'm going to throw my toys out my pram," or Ten Hag was in any way unsure of his personality, well, then this is the perfect time to get rid of him.
But does Ten Hag even give a fuck about his personality? That's where I have the issue, where I think Ten Hag doesn't care who he runs over, because he wants to be that power guy. He wants to be the next
absolutely Fergie. Like if you speak to, or if you hear any of the players getting interviewed that he played under for Ajax underneath him, they all respect him. His man management, the type of player he is, they'd run through a brick wall for him. Look at Martinez and Anthony. They wouldn't have came to Manchester United and played, well, not so much Anthony because he's still very young, but Martinez especially, and play the way he does for him, unless he's a good manager, unless he's a good man manager.
Yeah, look, I get it. It is one to watch. I honestly think it is one to watch, because I think that could turn south. If them results start slipping, I think that could go south very quickly. So it's something to start
because and that's it, because I suppose as soon as the results go the other way, people start playing the blame game, and that's when the players then will deflect the blame from them. I think Ten Hag as well, maybe it's luck, maybe it's not, but even with the Ronaldo situation, because the results were going his way, he could not do any wrong really with the Ronaldo situation. So let's hope it keeps up like that.
Okay, Paddy, we'll move on to the next one.
Just in terms of the match itself, Wolves match, from a United perspective, it was one of those banana skins. I think you called it as it was going to be a draw. I knew it was going to be very, very tight. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was one of those grounds that it's always been difficult for United to go to in the last recent seasons, and anyway. But to come away with the 1-0 result, and for Rashford to get the goal, it's those type of performances that maybe will not win you the Premier League, because we're not going to do it this season, but get you Champions League football. It's those type of
but like what you're saying is like it's the sign of champions kind of thing, isn't it? Like where like you don't play well but you still get the result, and that is a sign of champions. Like so, I get what you're saying there. So yeah, overall happy with getting the result. I suppose the performance maybe not so much, but look, you get the 3 points, and that's really all that matters. It's a results based game, and that's. Speaking of results-based game, Paddy.
Builds confidence. What?
Speaking of results-based game.
Yes.
Forest and Chelsea. Like, fuck me.
Yeah.
This guy has got to go from Chelsea. I honestly cannot wait till he gets sacked. I've called it from day one. Before he even came in, I said, this guy is not Chelsea material.
Yeah.
And I'd stick by it. I don't care what happens now. I don't care if he turns around, we win the league. He's not, for me, he's not the guy that's going to lead Chelsea to the next level. I don't know what Todd Bowley says, and I don't know what he's waiting to see, because whatever he's waiting on isn't going to fucking happen. I don't think, and everyone keeps saying, and I see it online, again, I put up a rant video on TikTok about this as well. So if you haven't seen it, head over to TikTok and you'll see it. There's 400 and something comments. Every single one of them abusing me. Same with the one on the United, on the United rant about Ten Hag. 400 comments. Every single one of them abusing me. I fucking love it. But I just don't see. I just honestly, everyone keeps saying he hasn't even had a window. He hasn't had this. He hasn't had that. This guy hasn't even got experience signing big players in a window. This guy has no experience in signing a big player, convincing a big player that, yes, this is the team for you.
Yeah.
Paddy, does he excite you in an interview?
I'll tell you what.
Does he excite you on a sideline?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like you come across some managers and you can tell they have a bit of steel about them. And, there's players won't mess around or, they'll respect them. I don't get that impression at all with Potter. I really don't. Yeah. He's so placid, and I made for a big club. He might be different in the background. I don't know, but I think the Chelsea job is just too big for him.
Well, the only reason as well that I really jump on his case is because apparently current Chelsea players have come out and they've talked to ex-professionals, and they said the difference in training between Potter and Tuchel is A to Z. He said it's just completely fucking different. He said it's like going from having the best coach in the world to having a fucking PE teacher as your coach. And so when you have the players that are saying that in the squad, currently in the squad, for me that doesn't sit right. And you can't sell that player. Do you know what I mean? You can't sell him for not being happy with the standard, because he wants a standard of training. He's not getting it. They're not getting the results to follow it. The player has to be right. Do you know what I mean? It's a results-based game. Potter shows no sign of enthusiasm on the sideline. How can that motivate you as a player? You're 1-0 down. Now, look, we went 1-0 up, actually. But if you're 1-0 down and you're looking for a bit extra, you're away from home. Maybe you don't have that fan kind of cheering you on and fucking giving you that little bit of adrenaline. That manager's not going to do it. Potter's not going to do it because he stands there with his hands in his pocket or his arms folded with his fucking sexy beard and does nothing. So, he's definitely just not. He's not the fit for Chelsea. I cannot see how long we can keep going with him, because what's going to happen, and I've said it before, we're going to fall into a slippery place where it's going to be very hard to recover from. And I know you'll take this personally, but we'll turn into the next Manchester United, where it's going to be 10 years before we challenge for anything. But that's the way I see it.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. It's going to be irreparable.
How do you feel your recruitment is? Because that's one of the biggest things that United got wrong over the long term.
We have signed, I think I've seen 7 players come in the last kind of 2 or 3 weeks, and I don't think one of them was over the age of 23. We're just signing these people, hoping, like your man Todd Bowley, right? He's seen everyone. Oh, let's build for the future. Let's build this. Let's build. All of a sudden, we have fucking 24 fucking 23-year-olds coming into the club. Who the fuck are they? Yeah. We've signed the centre half from Monaco, who is, I think he's 21 or something like that. The chap, it may as well be Tom Daly, because he dives in at everything. He's another Koulibaly. He's shocking. He's wild. He jumps in at everyone. Now, you'll go on to his YouTube highlights and he looks great because he's diving in and he's making the challenges. But how many penalties is he going to give away? Yeah. And it's not what Chelsea need. Chelsea needs someone exactly like Thiago Silva, except 15 years younger. Do you know what I mean? But that's what we need. We're signing all these players. Nobody knows who they are. We're about to spend 127 million on Enzo Fernandez, who just won the young player of the tournament in the World Cup. And what I can guarantee you is going to happen is he's going to flop, because I seen it happen back in 2007 at the under-21s, the Euro Championships. Holland, Royston Drenthe had the best tournament I've probably ever seen from an under-21 player. And I remember saying to all the lads, he's fucking savage. I'd love Chelsea to sign him. Real Madrid signed them. 2 or 3 seasons later, he's in the 4th division of fucking Turkey. Because everyone shot their load. Everyone said, fuck this. This is the best guy I've ever seen in my life. Throw the checkbook at him. We got him in and he fucking shit the bed and he wasn't able to handle it. And that's what's going to happen with Enzo. I can see it. I can just see that's going to happen. And I don't think he's the right signing. Especially at 127 million.
And are you getting the impression that he's on borrowed time now?
I don't
Really?
know, because like there is a massive divide between the Chelsea fans, and I could see it online. When you go onto the Chelsea page, if you're on Instagram, go onto Chelsea's page and look at their post, you'll always see me commenting in saying Potter out. But you'll see a 50-50 split, and you'll always see people arguing in the comments saying, give him time, blah, blah, blah. But Paddy, I've said it before on this podcast, Chelsea are not a club that give people time. We don't do it. We've been one of the most
previous
successful
ownership, though.
Under previous ownership, and that's why I'm thinking I don't know whether he is on borrowed time, because I don't know what Todd Bowley's actions are. He made a rash decision, sacked Tuchel, and then there was me thinking, right, this fella's just going to sack managers left, right, and centre. But I don't know if he's after doing that because he has this future plan in his head that like everything's going to be great. We're getting a young manager. We're getting a load of young players. In 15 years' time, we're going to be fucking great. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what his long-term plans are. To be honest with you, I want to see ruthlessness from him, because I want to see managers sacked. And I know that sounds terrible, but as a Chelsea fan, you've grown up with that. And that's just the way the culture is. You sack your manager if you're not getting the results.
Yeah.
Lampard was the heartbreaking one, because we all thought Frank Lampard going to be here 5 to 8 years. He's going to be a great manager. He's going to do brilliant things. Maybe he'll go on and he'll be England manager. Fucking complete U-turn. He gets sacked, and then all of a sudden, now again under different ownership. So can't comment like too much on.
I think as well, with the likes of say Tuchel that you had, if he had a run of games, you could forgive that and say, well, we know he has the pedigree to turn this around. But you just have to feel him with Potter that there's nothing he's going to be able to do to turn this around. Nothing like.
And what's going to happen is he is going to be that Ollie type of manager where he's got a massive run of shit games, and then all of a sudden he's fucking like he'll probably go out now and we'll probably beat Man City. Do you know what I mean? And then everyone will forget about all the bullshit we've endured for the last 6 or 7 weeks. And then we'll go on and run a fucking three games without a win. And for it might not seem a lot, but for Chelsea, that's not acceptable. Like, we have to be up there challenging. Like, I was coming into this season so confident that we were going to be challenging for this league. And, like, I would be happy with 4th position. I would take 4th position on goal. We're not going to get it. We're going to get, if we don't sack him, we're going to get 7th or 8th and no higher than that. And that's a guarantee that we're not getting higher than that.
Yeah.
Regardless of all the other teams fucking it away. So
it's a strange league. Like the whole balance of power is shifting massively this season compared to what it has been for the last 5-10 years.
Yeah, definitely. There's more teams. I think now we have a top 4. I'm going to say United, Arsenal, Liverpool, and City. They look like now in the next 2 or 3 years they're going to be the top 4 teams, challenging like closer though.
Liverpool, I don't know. Like, if you look at Newcastle, like Newcastle will end up being like Man City are now.
I am. I'm probably overlooking Newcastle, to be fair. Yeah, Newcastle are up there as well.
Because I watched Newcastle against Leicester a couple of weeks ago, and it's the 4th time I've really watched a full game of them all season, and they blew them away. Like, blew them away.
Good, yeah. Paddy, look, we'll move on to the next one. Brentford and Liverpool. Paddy. Again, if anybody follows me on TikTok, you know I was out for blood last night, because Paddy, I'm going to make a statement right here, and I want your honest opinion on it. Now, you can tell me I'm a fucking idiot if you want, right? But I'm going to say what I feel, and what I feel is that Virgil van Dijk is one of the most overrated defenders that has ever played in the Premier League, and I'll tell you why. Right? I'm not saying that he's not a good defender. But when you put him on that level up here to say that he's world class, he's one of the best in the fucking world, one of the best the Premier League has ever seen, and his performances are down here. The scale, the difference of that scale is massive. So for me to say that he's the most overrated player in the world, I think it's relatable to the scale of where they're saying he is compared to where he actually is. So would you agree with me on that, or?
Well, first of all, I'll say you're a fucking idiot, because you told me I could say you were a fucking idiot. So, but I do agree with you. Actually, I think you're absolutely dead right. And the 90% of the people saying Virgil van Dijk is one of the best defenders the Premier League has ever seen are Liverpool supporters. And they're very, very loud and very, very vocal. And these same supporters are also saying that this striker, Andy Carroll, is
Nunes.
These they're blinded sometimes by loyalty and by support, and sometimes you need to look at a player and go, they're just not doing it anymore. I think Virgil van Dijk, I don't know what's after happening,
especially since his injury. Remember that horrific injury?
Pickford, the Everton game, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and he just hasn't been the same player since. He really hasn't.
But even at that, like I know he was very good. Like they went on, they won the league. Since that injury, he definitely he's been a shell of the same player. Like if you look at him even at the start of the season, like he wasn't closing players down. He stands off players, very standoffish. It doesn't look like he's running full pelt, and everyone will go, that's how easy he makes the game look. That's bollocks. Go and fucking sprint to the ball, give yourself the yard, allow yourself to play the ball out from the back. He makes all these tackles, and there's probably no need for him to even have to make half of them, because if he ran the first 2 yards, he'd probably make it there before the fucking defender does. So I think he's very lackadaisy. It looks great because he's strolling around and he's making the game look easy. He's not. He's kind of making it more complicated for himself, and he's putting his teammates under pressure. And I think for his performance that we're seeing, everybody will say he was injured there against Brentford. Bullshit. He was fucking horrendous, and he got whipped off by Klopp, and I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, he's not the player he is, and I don't think he will ever regain that form again. I think that injury has probably ruined his career for Liverpool anyway. And I think Liverpool need to realise that quick, or else they won't be challenging for any Premier Leagues for a long, long time again. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Right, Paddy, I think we'll move off that. That was a nice little review we had there. So we can move off that. And Paddy, what we'll move on to now is the news of the week. Right, Paddy, I suppose we'll start off with some kind of sadder news in the football world. For me, it was real weird, because in my head, Pele is such a legend that you always think of him as he's already dead. Now, I know that sounds weird, but like you look at Maradona, who's now gone, the likes of George Best, Pele is now the final of them kind of legends of the game to pass away. Like from that era, kind of. So for me, like seeing clips and highlights of Pele and stuff like that, it's nice to see. I actually really enjoy watching them. And there's one video in particular that I'm gonna bring up now in a minute. That was just kind of footage I never even knew existed. He played in Dalymount back in 1982, I think it was. No, it wasn't 82. It was 60 something. 72 it could have been. So 1972, I think it was. And the game finished 3-2. And it was in Dalymount Park. And he was playing against a select 11 from Bowes and Drumcondra. Now, he didn't score that day, but there was 27,500 people in that stadium watching that match. And that to me just it justifies how big he was back in the day. And when you look at the stuff that's going on over in Brazil, like 3 days of national mourning they got for Pele dying.
And now FIFA are looking for every country in the world to name a stadium after him.
Seeing that, it's a bit, I don't know about that one.
It's a bit much. No, I don't think.
It's a bit much. Paddy, when you look at kind of his stats over the, like they call him the best player that's ever played the game. He played for Santos and New York Cosmos. He played for New York for 2 years. But he made 700 appearances and scored 655 goals in club football. Now, they're the ones apparently that were only recorded. Apparently, he scored over 1,000 goals. So 1,279 goals in 1,363 games. Now, that includes friendlies and stuff like that. But either way, what a record that is. He won 3 World Cups, one at the age of 18, one at 22, and one at the age of 30. The only player ever to win 3 World Cups, which is very impressive. And I don't think anybody that ever watched football didn't know who Pele was. You may have never even seen, like even kids that are being born kind of like, I suppose, that are kind of 16, 17 now. Everybody knows who Pele is. You know that name, like.
Yeah.
Do you have that like kind of that like?
I think memory, like why he was so loved as well. It was because especially around that era, the best players in the world, George Best, Diego Maradona, that greatness sometimes came with, a cross to bear, and they had their issues, whether it be with drugs or drink. Pele, his head was on so well. He was such a good guy. He done so much for football in his own country and globally. And when you look at the amount of corruption that went on in the likes of FIFA and UEFA and everything else, Pele always was the face of these organizations, but never involved in any of the corruption. All he did was love football, and I think that's why everybody loved Pele. And you can't really say much more than that. I've never heard one person say a bad word about Pele. Like you talk about even nowadays, Messi, Ronaldo. Messi's similar in terms of,
very screwed on, very focused, very professional, like
good guy. You know what I mean? He'll be remembered just as an amazing footballer. And Pele, you can say one of the best players of all time. It's very hard to pick any one player as the best player of all time. I can't do it, even between Ronaldo and Messi. But
it's incomparable. I think from especially different areas where we have Messi and Ronaldo, and then you have like Maradona and Pele back then. It's very different. It's very difficult to compare.
You put football on the map, though. I think.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and especially Brazilian football, because Brazilian football from that point, like they call him the king over in Brazil, and like that's mental. Paddy, we're going to have a quick look. I suppose it is a little bit of a tribute video, I suppose we're going to call it, just of him playing in Dalymount Park. So I think this is brilliant footage. Look, we'll have a look and we'll see what everyone thinks. I think this is brilliant. So this is Pele playing in Dalymount. Yeah, I just think
very emotional musically.
I know, yeah. I had to pick something. I couldn't be having it all kind of samba soccer. It has to. I think a fitting tribute to him, like a bit nice music, and the footage. I think itself is it's beautiful footage. Like
brilliant.
I put it up.
Wasn't taken on an iPhone, no, but
no. It wasn't taken didn't have the quality, but yeah.
Yeah, and for I suppose our audio listeners, that was a video of Pele, as you explained, playing in Ireland many years ago. Great to have.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen that and you don't know what we're talking about, go onto our YouTube channel and watch that, because that video again is really good. So, Paddy, right? That's all we have on Pele. So, look, what a legend. Paddy, we're going to look at the transfer window now. I think.
Can we just to go back to the Virgil van Dijk Liverpool story?
Oh, okay.
Just an interesting stat I've gotten here from this season. We've played 18 games so far this season. Liverpool out of the top 8 are bottom of the clean sheet list. They've only had 4 clean sheets all season. And for Alisson and Virgil van Dijk, that is bad reading. If you're looking at, wanting to be Premier League leader. So he's down on 14th out of all the goalkeepers in the league. Out of 25 keepers that have played, he's 14th with only 4 clean sheets.
Yeah, I mean the stats speak for themselves.
23.5% of the games he's only kept clean sheets. So,
and for Liverpool, that's like who are so solid over the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
what's happened? What's happened, Liverpool fans? Let us know what has happened. Why has Virgil van Dijk fell off a cliff? Why is he shit? Trent is shit as well.
I really should have added to that. I'm delighted, just are shy.
Right, Paddy, we're going to look at this because we were sent this by someone and we want to have a look at it. This is the top kind of 10 or 11 transfers that have happened in the Premier League over the last whatever amount of years. But we're going to look at them and we're going to say whether we think it was worth it or whether we think like, well, okay, pay too much here. So I suppose if you're watching on YouTube, we've kind of ruined it already, but we're going to start at the bottom. But it doesn't make a difference anyway, but because our listeners won't. Number 11, Paddy, we have Kai Havertz, who Chelsea signed for 80 million in 2021. Now, Paddy, you give me your thoughts on this one before we jump off. Do you think that he was worth the 80 million?
No, not for the numbers he returns for the club. Absolutely not. Short and sweet. No.
I beg to differ. He scored the winning goal in the Champions League final, and that for me justified every single bit of that.
And I understand that as a fan. I understand that, yeah.
I love that. Yeah. We then have at number 10, Darwin Núñez. Paddy, I would happily take that 0 after that 8 away, and that would be what I'd pay for him. 8 million is what I value him at.
I wouldn't even pay it.
He's the worst finisher I've ever seen that's been bought for so much money. Like, you know when you do something once or twice and you kind of go, it was a bit unlucky. This chap's done this about 8 or 9 times where he's absolutely scuffed the ball across the goal, and it's closer to the corner flag.
I think he's going to get an unwanted record very soon, that if he gets 2 more clear opening opportunities, he's going to get one of the strikers with the most clear-cut openings missed ever in the Premier League.
I hope to God he does. Okay, then we have next one is the centre-back that Chelsea have signed, Wesley Fofana. Again, you could take that 80 and scrap it and just stick that 40 there, because 40 million even is probably too much for this guy.
You have to wait and see.
He's young. That's the only thing. He's young.
Yeah.
Seems like a half decent player, but to me, 80 million for an unknown package in Wesley Fofana is not what I want to see as a Chelsea fan. I think we could spend that money a lot more wisely than that. But yeah, look, that one remains to be seen, Paddy. I think you agree there, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Shocking. Next one, Paddy, we're on to VVD, right? Virgil van Dijk, 84 million. Can you justify the 84 million price tag?
That third column there, is that their age?
Third column is their age, yeah.
Wow, I thought he was older than that, to be quite honest with you. And it's, I suppose, as a football fan, it's sad to see that injury has ended what should have been the prime of his career. Like, he should be the best player.
Now,
the best
hold on
he's
a
ever
second,
been.
because that's sorry, Paddy. That is the age they were signed at.
Right. Okay.
So he was signed at 26.
So we would be a bit
31.
closer to 30 then now.
He's 31.
So for what he's delivered for the club, would I take him at United for what he's delivered at the club for that price? Yeah, I think it was a good deal, a decent deal.
I do think, and look, we've just said it there. He's the most overrated defender in Premier League. I do think that for what he's done and what he's done for Liverpool, in terms of Liverpool were so close the season before for winning the league. The only thing that let them down was defensively. He came in and they won the league, albeit a COVID-ridden season where there's an asterisk involved. We won't get into that one. That's another kettle of fish there. But yeah, I think 84 million probably worth it. We have this absolute donkey next in 7th position, Romelu Lukaku, who signed for Manchester United back in 17-18 season for 84 million. Paddy, can you tell me, I'm not even going to ask your opinion on this, can you just tell me how bad of a signing this was, please?
I've never seen a player getting away with being fat and lazy more than Romelu Lukaku. I swear to God. And I don't like, look, and I'm sorry, like if he ever listens to this and he thinks, well, fuck you, Paddy, you know what I mean? That's way out of order. Like, you're paying 85 million for somebody. The least you can do is learn how to not eat pies from Greg's on a daily basis, because he fucking said, I'm going to Italy now and they have dietitians and all, so I can eat properly, and that's why I can perform properly. Oh my God, just stop sticking the pies in your mouth, you fat fuck. You're on like 300 grand a week, you shit.
Get a personal chef or something like.
Yeah, fucking hell. Or just get a cage for your mouth or something.
Right, Paddy. Yeah, look, I have to agree there. Romelu Lukaku, when you see what comes up again. But anyway, shocking signing. Next one, Jadon Sancho. Signed at 21, 85 million last season. Paddy, worth the 85 million?
I as a fan, I know every non-United fan will say absolutely not, but I have to wait and see. He's still only 22. For Ten Hag, I'm hoping can bring the best out of him. So at the moment, no. From what he's given us at the moment, you would say no.
What is going on there? Is he not over in Holland or something, training over in Holland because he's
supposedly
lazy or
he's back now, but not ready to go into the squad yet.
What was going on there?
Mentally and physically, he just wasn't there for one reason or another. Why that is, I don't know. Ten Hag is trying to get to the root of the cause. He came to the club as a 21-year-old after lighting the Bundesliga on fire, and I think he just couldn't, or maybe he had a bad run. Look, he came into a very negative squad with United.
Yeah.
He really did, and I think it killed him. At 21 years of age, he needed to come into a successful squad that was winning, and then he could have hit the ground running. So I think what Ten Hag now wants to do is reset him mentally. And I think it's more of a mental thing than a physical thing. I think mentally he wants to reset him, that he's going to come in now to a winning United side that he can, give a couple of minutes here, give a couple of minutes there, and build up his confidence again. Because I think, look, it's a confidence-based game, and that's exactly what he needs right now.
Would you disagree with me if I said he'd be a far better player if he went into that Manchester City team under Pep?
Oh, when they bought him, absolutely, yeah, of course, absolutely. But I think him coming in now, if United had bought him only now under Ten Hag, I think he would have been a much better player.
Yeah, okay. I did say, just for the record, that he was going to be a flop. Now I said that to ruffle a few feathers as well, but look. Next one, Paddy, is your best mate, the Fridge, Harry Maguire, slabhead, who was signed for 87 million. Paddy, can you justify any amount of this money?
No.
None.
Nothing. No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I think it makes it even worse that he was made captain, and then he just seems to be blind to his own misgivings. Yeah, he's constantly on the defensive rather than say, looking at himself and going, right, I need to improve my game here. My performances just aren't good enough, because we can all talk about none of the United squad performed last season, but even this season under Ten Hag, I think Ten Hag is kind of looking at him and going, no, you're not for me. You're not
Paddy,
a top player.
You know it's bad when you have Harry Maguire sitting on the bench and Luke Shaw is starting centre half on the weekend.
Now, he's back in the lineup tonight. He's starting tonight.
Oh, I stand corrected. I stand corrected.
And Van de Beek is starting as well. So,
see, look, Ten Hag has lost the dressing room already. He's having to make subs. No one wants to play for him.
It's rotation. It's rotation. We have a lot of games coming up.
Nah, I'm only joking. Next one, Anthony, 95 million. Again, it's kind of a wait and see for this one, isn't it?
It's too much. It's too much. Even if he becomes amazing, we paid way over the odds from. Like, if you look at, we could have got Gapco for half the price of this, and would there have been much of a difference? Maybe not. Like, Anthony could become a really good player, but 95 million, absolutely not.
At the moment, he's just a glorified fidget spinner.
Yeah, kind of glorified what?
Fidget spinner. Sorry, I messed that up.
Fidget spinner. Very good.
He just gets the ball and just starts fucking spinning with it, like, for no reason. No one's even around him. It doesn't go by anyone. He does no benefit of what he does. Like,
look at this screen and look at all those Manchester United crests.
I know, it's shocking. Like, this is shocking. God. And you complain so much about your owners. They take the money out of the club.
Exactly, we did, because look at the amount of bad signings we made.
Look where it's going.
Because this wasn't football, people. Bad signings. That's why I said it.
Fucking stop.
This reinforces what I said.
No.
Because the amount of these that were flops.
Paul Pogba, 105 million, Paddy. Can you justify that?
No, absolutely not. Like, we could justify Virgil van Dijk earlier on because of what he helped
the club
Liverpool do. Not one of these players have helped United win anything. So no, absolutely not.
Did you just win Europa? No, he's lost in the final, didn't he? Next one, Paddy.
No, we did win under Mourinho though.
Yeah. Next one, we have this absolute fucking donkey again. Romelu Lukaku.
How did he get 200
He's back in the list.
Combined?
Like Chelsea paid 113 million for him last season, and like, Paddy, this could be. I reckon this is probably the worst signing in history of all signings. One, we paid that amount of money for an absolute gobshite. And then he comes out and does this fucking interview in Milan saying he's coming back and he fucking loves Milan and he doesn't want to leave.
Where is he?
He's over in Inter Milan. He's still over there. And apparently he's only on loan over there. Chelsea just sent him on loan, just said, here, go fuck yourself. See you later. And now he's like having interviews again where like he's still a Chelsea player and he's like, oh no, I want to make it a permanent deal. He doesn't fucking get to decide that. Like he's under contract at Chelsea. The chap is a fucking clown.
Jesus. He just wants to be in Italy because of the Italian cuisine. It's better food over there and he can just munch away.
113 million and 84 million. The guts of 200 million has been spent on this absolute muppet. I would do a better job and I'll play for free. I don't care. I'd do a better job than him. Jack Grealish is top of the list, Paddy, 117.5 million. I'm not controversial about the old England and Ireland flag there, but look, we'll let that one slide. What do you think of this signing and do you think it was worth it?
I'd take him at United all day.
For that price? If I said to you, you can sign Jack Grealish for that price, would you do it?
No.
What do you think? What's your max?
If we paid 95 for Anthony, you're like 80 million, like in today's market. Yeah. Let's look at today's market. And then United tax as well. When he was coming from Aston Villa, I would have took him for 80 million. Yeah, not 170. Yeah. No way. Yeah.
Okay. And then, Paddy, I suppose we have to touch on we've already kind of touched on him already, but Enzo Fernandez, who Chelsea are potentially signing for 127 million.
But what about you? I didn't hear whether would you take him at Chelsea? Jack
Grealish, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I actually think he'd be exactly what Chelsea need. He gets at players. He has a little bit of magic in the foot, you know, like ready to go, ready to rock. You never know when he's going to do it, but he's definitely got the talent. And yeah, I think Chelsea would benefit from him. Enzo Fernandez, on the other hand, I think he's gonna flop. 127 million is what we're paying for him. Again, we said it already, Paddy. Another Royston Drenthe where he has one fantastic tournament. Yeah. Real Madrid signed him and he ended up in the fucking 4th division.
James Rodriguez, do you remember him?
James Rodriguez, yeah, same thing. Ended up signing for Real Madrid, then ended up in Everton. And there was rumours of him being a transvestite and never playing football again. And I haven't seen him since, so that could be true. So I don't know what yeah, he could be in the women's league. So yeah, look, I don't know what else is going on. So Paddy, that's that. That's that out of the way. So what we're going to jump on to real quick, and we're going to spend the next kind of 5 or 10 minutes just talking about the fixtures, the upcoming fixtures for this week. Right, Paddy. We have to go into this fucking match, unfortunately. Chelsea and Manchester City. This is going to be the one that could send me over the edge here. Because
in what way? You don't have to look. It's not suicide watch around.
Me dad and me brother are Manchester City fans, so whatever is going to happen in this match is going to be tenfold for me because I'm not going to just get it online and from everybody that follows and listens. I'm going to get it from the fucking family as well. So it's going to be horrendous if Chelsea lose this. And I know my brother's not going to give me an inch. He's going to give me absolute fucking stick if they beat us. So. And I can see them beating us. I can see them absolutely hammering us.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm being honest. And I'm going to say a 3-0 win for Manchester City because I don't see Chelsea being able to break them down. What's going to happen and what happens all the time with Raheem Sterling and it happened to him at Manchester City when they played Liverpool was he tried so hard to score against Liverpool because it was his former team. And he tries so hard. And if he does start, and he will start, watch it. Because he's going to try so hard to score against Manchester City and he's not going to score. And I guarantee you, he's going to miss an absolute sitter. I guarantee Raheem Sterling's going to miss an absolute sitter against Manchester City. But yeah, I'm going 3-0 with Manchester City. I don't think we're going to challenge them at all. What do you think?
Okay. I'm going to go for, because it's in Stamford Bridge and City aren't exactly setting the world alight at the moment, I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw and Haaland to score first.
What I do want to see and what I am looking forward to seeing is Haaland versus Thiago Silva. That's one I'm looking forward to seeing. Just to see how Thiago Silva, I know, look, he's not going to be able to keep up with Haaland and probably going to get dominated in the air as well. But Thiago Silva has a bit of fucking bit of smarts about him. Like, so it'll be interesting to see. Paddy, the next 3 games we're moving on to the FA Cup. So the next one up is Man United versus Everton. Look, Lamps obviously under serious pressure at Everton. Everton not in a great place at the moment. United flying high. How do you see this one going, please?
I'm going to go 2-0 to United because we are going to be changing up the squad because of the amount of games coming up. I think tonight, obviously, just to throw in as well, we're going to be Bournemouth about 3-0. And then we'll probably win this about 2-0 as well because defensively we're doing very well.
Okay, yeah, I think, do you know what I think might happen? I think he might go 1-0 down in this match, but I think Daniels will come back and win 2-1. So I'm going to say a 2-1 win for United, and I'm going to say Fernandes to score on this one. Paddy, on to the next one. Liverpool and Wolves. How do you see this one going?
We can see Liverpool having the rest players because of their injury woes, and Wolves, I think, might get the win. I can't see Liverpool win 19 this season. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Wolves.
I still see Liverpool sneaking through this one. Tight enough game, I think. I'm going to go a 1-0 win for Liverpool. I don't think Van Dijk plays. I think he gets rested, which might benefit them. But I don't know. I'm gonna go 1-0 to Liverpool, and I'm gonna say Oxlade-Chamberlain to score because why not? Last one, Paddy. Man City and Chelsea again. I mean, yeah, we have to look at who's going to be rotated. The squad depth that Man City have. They're going to rest a lot of players, but it's still probably going to be stronger than us because they just play better football. Chelsea are going to put out their full team because they have to, because Potter, at the bare minimum, has to challenge for an FA Cup. Yeah. So I think this one might be a little bit tighter. I think it might go to extra time. I don't know is there extra time or is it replay? I presume it might be extra time.
No idea, but I don't think it will go to extra time. I think Man City are going to beat us, and that's simple as that.
I thought 90 minutes might be a 1-1 draw, and then Man City will beat us. But look, either way, I don't see Chelsea beating them anyway. Right, Paddy, that is all we have time for this week. For anybody that is watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, make sure you hit follow, subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Paddy, it's a surprising stat, but 80% of people that watch this podcast and listen to this podcast are not subscribed. So, yeah, hit the fucking subscribe button. What are you waiting for? If you're on YouTube, hit it now. Go on, we'll wait.
It costs nothing. It costs absolutely nothing. And again, it will save my life.
Yeah, because Paddy's on. Yeah, suicide watch.
Yeah. So, the doctors actually told me if you can get the number from 25 to 80% subscribed, that they can find the drug that will save my life. So please help. Look,
you're not just subscribing, you're saving Paddy's life. That's what we want to try to get across here.
And we just got a little love there, I see. So in one of the things.
Oh, nice. Thanks for the love, whoever it was. Mayor wins Caesar. So maybe lads,
because I'm gonna die.
Not lads. Just yeah, maybe, Paddy. You know, it's like there's a lot of love around here. Look, if anybody's listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts as well, get yourself over to the YouTube channel. Get yourself onto TikTok. Lads, TikTok is the place to be. We're going to fucking put serious shit out on TikTok. We're going to trigger everyone. So nobody is safe on TikTok. So yeah, that's where we're going to be. Look, it helps us out.
You need to be a tick to not be on TikTok.
More of that on TikTok, yeah. Can't wait for you all to TikTok. Paddy, it's been a pleasure.
Come on, United.
Fuck off, United. We will be back next week, Tuesday, 8 o'clock, we presume. This is 7 o'clock, but we will be back at 8 o'clock next week. So yeah, we'll talk to everybody then.